Hi, I'm Bobby Russell. I'm a Microsoft technical trainer. I'm here to walk you through the SC200 Microsoft Security Operations Analyst course. Welcome to Learning Path 4, Mitigating Threats Using Microsoft Defender for Endpoint. In this learning path, we're going to cover a few things. We'll talk about protecting against threats with Microsoft Defender for Endpoint. We'll talk about deploying the Microsoft Defender for Endpoint environment. We'll implement Windows security enhancements. We'll look at performing device investigations. We'll look at performing actions on a device, performing evidence and entity investigations. We'll look at configuring and managing automation. We'll look at configuring for alerts and detections. And we'll look at utilizing threat and vulnerability management as part of our process here. Let's jump into our first module, Protect Against Threats with Microsoft Defender for Endpoint. After completing this module, you'll be able to define the capabilities of Microsoft Defender for Endpoint. You'll be able to describe how to hunt threats within your network. You'll be able to explain how Microsoft Defender for Endpoint can remediate risks in your environment. Also, Microsoft Defender for Endpoint is a security platform that helps businesses protect their devices by preventing, detecting, investigating, and responding to advanced cyber threats. The following list describes just some of the things in the illustration. So number one, your device is onboarded through one of the supported management tools that we have. Next, onboarded devices provide a response to the Microsoft Defender for Endpoint signal. After that, managed devices are joined and or enrolled into Entra ID. Unmanaged devices are not joined or enrolled into Entra ID. Domain-joined Windows devices are synchronized to the Entra ID using Entra ID Connect. Microsoft Defender for Endpoint is a security platform that helps businesses protect their devices by preventing, detecting, investigating, and responding to advanced cyber threats. The following list describes the illustration steps that occur. Number one, devices are onboarded through one of the supported management tools. Next, onboarded devices provide and respond to Microsoft Defender for Endpoint signal data. 3. Managed devices are joined and or enrolled into Entra ID. Unmanaged devices are not joined to Entra ID. Domain-joined Windows devices are synchronized to Entra ID using the Entra ID Connect tool. Microsoft Defender for Endpoint alerts, investigates, and responds to any management or anything else that's related to Microsoft Defender XDR. Threats can sneak in from everyday stuff. This shows how something as simple as a personal email or a USB stick can be the starting point for a cyber attack. It's a good reminder that even small actions can open the door to bigger risks. Microsoft Defender jumps in right away. As soon as something suspicious is detected, like a malicious attachment, Microsoft Defender for Endpoint steps in to catch it before it spreads. Access gets cut off fast to stop the damage. If a device is compromised, user access is immediately disabled. It's like slamming the brakes to keep the threat from going any further. Threat info gets shared to stay ahead of the game. The system doesn't just stop the attack, it also shares with everyone else what it found through Microsoft Threat Intelligence to help protect everyone else from the same threat. Email protection goes company-wide. Microsoft Defender for Office 365 scans all company emails to find and remove the bad stuff and blocks it from coming back. It's like cleaning up the mess and locking the door behind it. Defender for Endpoint is built to catch advanced cyber attacks almost as soon as they happen, and it gives security teams clear, actionable alerts to work with. When multiple alerts seem related, like they use the same attack method or come from the same attacker, they're grouped into a single incident, making it easier for analysts to see the full picture and respond faster. And behind the scenes, it's constantly collecting detailed data on things like processes, network activity, and file changes, all based on the idea that a breach could happen at any time. So let's jump into our second module, which is deploy the Microsoft Defender for Endpoint environment. So after this module, you'll be able to create a Microsoft Defender for Endpoint environment. You'll understand how onboarding of devices are monitored by Defender for Endpoint. And finally, we'll talk about configuring Defender for Endpoint, the environmental settings themselves. You'll kick things off in the Microsoft Defender XDR portal. Just head over to the security.microsoft.com page to start setting up your environment. It's your central hub for everything security related. Where your data lives depends on your location. The system automatically picks a data storage location based on your tenant's geolocation during the setup. And just a heads up, you can't change it later, so you need to ensure that you select the correct one. Your data sticks around for a while, but not forever. Defender for Endpoint keeps data for 180 days. But if you're doing advanced hunting, you've got a 30-day window to query that date. Preview features are turned on by default. You'll get early access to new tools and updates right away, but you can always turn them off if you prefer the more stable experience. Getting started is as easy as clicking around. Just select anything under the endpoint section or any feature in the portal menu and onboarding begins. There's no complicated setup required. Here, Defender's doing a bit of housekeeping. The message says it, getting things ready and connecting data spaces. Basically, it's setting the stage behind the scenes so everything runs smoothly. And hey, how about the coffee mug? That little streaming cup on the loading screen is a fun touch. It's like Defender's way of saying, grab a cup of coffee while I get things ready. To get started with onboarding devices in Defender for Endpoint, just head over to the onboarding section in the portal. From there, you'll get step-by-step guidance based on the type of device you're adding. It even suggests the best tools and methods for managing and deploying protection based on the amount of resources that you have to protect. Defender XDR works across all major platforms, whether you're using Windows, macOS, or Linux. Defender has covered it. It supports Windows 10, Windows 11, various Windows Server versions, your macOS, and several Linux distributions. Windows gets the full feature set. On Windows 10 and 11, you get the most complete experience. Everything from attack surface reduction to automated investigation and response is available. For macOS and Linux, support is solid and growing. While some features are still in preview, Defender on Mac and Linux already includes essential like next-generation protection, EDR, and vulnerability management. Defender for Endpoint gives you fine-tuned control over access. Using the Defender XDR Unified Role-Based Access Control Model, or RBAC model, you can define exactly who can do what. Custom roles and device groups make access management flexible. You can create roles tailored to your organization's needs and assign them to specific Entra ID security groups. Plus, device groups can be set up based on tags, domains, or other criteria, so visibility is just as controlled as permissions. It's a smarter way to strengthen your security posture. By limiting access to only what's necessary, you reduce the risk of unauthorized actions or data exposure, while still keeping your team productive and aligned with their responsibilities. Defender XDR now lets you build custom roles right from the settings. This new integration makes it easier for security teams to tailor access and responsibilities based on specific operational needs. Defender XDR now lets you build custom roles right from the settings. This new integration makes it easier for security teams to tailor access and responsibilities based on specific operational needs directly from within the Defender XDR portal. You have full control over what each role can do, from managing alerts and performing live responses to simply viewing data. The permissions are highly customizable. You can choose from read-only, full access, or even hand-pick specific capabilities. The interface makes role setup intuitive and efficient. Device groups are a smart way to organize and secure your endpoints. By grouping devices based on criteria like name or domain, tags, or even the operating system, you can streamline management and apply consistent policies across similar assets. They give you control over access and automation that you may need. You can assign specific Entra ID user groups to each device group, control who sees what, and even tailor auto remediation settings and investigation response to fit the needs of each group. Setting them up is straightforward and strategic. Let's dive into our next module, Module 3, which is implementing Windows security enhancements. After completing this module, you'll be able to understand attack surface reduction in Windows, as well as enable and configure attack surface reduction rules on Windows devices. So let's get started. Attack surface reduction is all about minimizing risk before threats even reach your system. This outlines the key capabilities that help proactively reduce vulnerabilities, ranging from application control to network and even web protection. Each layer plays a specific role in strengthening your security posture. For example, hardware-based isolation protects critical processes, controlled folder access defends against ransomware, and removable storage protection secures things like USBs and other external devices. Together, these features create a multi-layered defense strategy. By combining exploit protection, firewall rules, and attack surface reduction policies, organizations can significantly limit the paths attackers can use to compromise your systems. ASR rules are a proactive way to reduce your exposure to threats. These rules help lock down common attack vectors, like blocking executable content from emails or preventing Office apps from launching child processes before attackers can exploit them. You have flexibility in how these rules are applied, and each rule can be set up to different modes, like audit, block, or even a warning mode, so you can test their impact before fully enforcing them across your environment. Deployment is seamless across all of your management platforms. Whether you're using Microsoft Intune, you're using group policies or PowerShell or Configuration Manager, you can roll out ASR rules in a way that fits your existing infrastructure. So with that, let's look into Module 4, which is performing device investigations. Now, after completing this module, you'll be able to use the device page in Microsoft Defender for Endpoint. You'll be able to describe device forensics information that's collected by Defender for Endpoint, and you'll be able to describe the behavior blocking by Microsoft Defender for Endpoint. This inventory view gives you a centralized snapshot of all the devices in your environment. It's organized into tabs like computers and mobile, network devices, and IoT, so you can easily filter and manage different device types across your network. Key metrics help you prioritize what needs attention. With quick stats like total devices, high-risk devices, and onboarding statistics, you can immediately identify where to focus all your efforts, especially with high-risk devices if they are flagged. It's built for both visibility and action. You can search, filter, customize columns, and even export the list for reporting. Plus, detailed device-level data like operating system version, risk level, and sensor health help you make informed decisions fast. When investigating a device in Microsoft Defender XDR, you get a detailed view that includes device information, response actions, and a range of tabs like alerts, timeline, and vulnerabilities to guide your analysis. The overview also features key cards showing things like active alerts, logged on users, and a security assessment to help you quickly assess risk. These tools work together to give you both visibility and control for effective threat response. So let's take a look at how behavior blocking and containment work in Microsoft Defender. So the system uses a layered approach, starting with pre-execution detection, which stops threats before they even run using things like machine learning models that analyze metadata, file behavior, and reputation. But if something does slip through, some post-execution detection kicks in, using behavior analysis, memory scanning, and AMSI integration to catch suspicious activity in real time. Together, these capabilities form a powerful defense that helps us stay ahead of both known and emerging threats. Follow the link below to follow the interactive demonstration on how Defender XDR can detect devices with device discovery. So now let's look into Module 5, which is performing actions on a device. After completing this module, you'll be able to perform actions on a device using Microsoft Defender for Endpoint. You'll be able to conduct forensic data collection using MDE, Microsoft Defender for Endpoint, and you'll be able to access devices remotely using MDE. When you're investigating devices in Microsoft Defender for Endpoint, or MDE, we have a powerful set of response actions right on your fingertips. You can do everything from tagging the device for tracking to launching an automated investigation or even starting a live response session for deeper analysis. If needed, we can isolate or contain the device. We can run antivirus scans, collect forensic packages, or consult with a threat expert, all directly from the portal. These tools give us the control we need to act quickly and decisively when a threat is detected. When you need to dig deeper into what's happening on a device, one of the most powerful tools at your disposal is the Collect Investigation Package feature. This feature remotely gathers a comprehensive snapshot of the device's current state, including things like running processes, network connections, registry keys, scheduled tasks, and a lot more. It's like capturing a forensic image without needing physical access to your machine. Once the package is collected, it's uploaded securely to the Microsoft Defender portal, where analysts can download and review it. This is especially useful when you're dealing with suspicious behavior or you're trying to understand the full scope of an incident. It gives us the visibility we need to make informed decisions quickly and confidently. When we need to take a closer look at a device in real time, Live Response gives us a secure, remote, command line interface directly into that machine. Let's break it down into two levels. You have basic and you have advanced. With basic Live Response, we can run built-in commands to gather information, things like listing running processes or checking network connections or pulling event logs. It's great for quick diagnostics and low-impact investigations. Now, if we enable the advanced Live Response, we unlock even more powerful capabilities. This includes uploading and running custom scripts, collecting files for deeper analysis, and even executing more complex remediation tasks. Both options are fully audited and secure, giving us the flexibility to respond quickly while maintaining control and compliance. All right, so now let's look into Module 6, Performing Investigations and Entity Investigations. After we complete this module, you'll be able to investigate files in Microsoft Defender for Endpoint. You'll be able to investigate domains and IP addresses in Microsoft Defender for Endpoint. And you'll be able to investigate user accounts in Microsoft Defender for Endpoint. Defender XDR gives us the tools to dig deeper through what's called a file investigation. This process lets us look at the file's metadata, its prevalence across the organization, and any associated alerts or behaviors. We can see where the file has been observed, how often it's been seen, and whether it's been flagged as maybe malicious by Defender or some other threat intelligence source. From there, we can take action, like submitting the file for a more deeper analysis, blocking it across the environment, or even initiating a live response to remove it. It's a fast, centralized way to understand the risk a file possesses and responds accordingly, all without needing to jump between tools. When you're investigating a potential threat, it's not just about the device, it's also about the user behind that activity. That's where user investigations come into play. Defender XDR gives us a user-centric view that pulls together all the relevant data tied to a specific identity. We can see which device the user has access, what alerts were associated with their activity, and even track sign-in patterns across the environment. This helps us spot things like anomalies, like user logging in from 2 different countries within minutes of accessing sensitive systems, things that they normally wouldn't touch. It's a powerful way to connect the dots between user behavior and potential threats, giving us the context we need to respond quickly and more accurately. When you're tracking down suspicious activity, one of the key pieces of evidence we look at is the IP addresses that are involved. In Defender XDR, investigating an IP address gives us a full picture of how it's interacting with our environment. We can see which devices have communicated with that IP address, what kinds of traffic was involved, and whether it's been flagged by Microsoft Threat Intelligence as malicious or even suspicious. It also shows us related alerts, geolocation data, and any known associations with threat actors or campaigns. This kind of visibility helps us quickly determine if the IP address is part of a targeted attack, a misconfiguration, or is it just normal traffic, so we can respond appropriately and with confidence. When we're investigating a potential threat, domains and URLs often play a critical role. They're the digital fingerprints of things like phishing sites, malware delivery points, or even command and control servers. In Defender XDR, we can investigate a domain or URL to see how it's interacting with our environment. We get a full view of which users or devices have accessed it, whether it's been flagged by Microsoft Threat Intelligence, and if it's been linked to any known campaign or malicious activity. We can also use related alerts, reputation scores, and even pivot to other entities like files or IP addresses that are connected to that domain. This kind of investigation helps quickly determine if a domain is part of a target attack or just a false positive, so we can take the right action, whether that's blocking it, alerting users, or in some cases, maybe digging deeper. Now, let's look into Module 7, Configuring and Managing Automation. After this module, you'll be able to configure advanced features of Microsoft Defender for Endpoint. You'll be able to manage automation settings in Microsoft Defender for Endpoint. When we talk about advanced threat features in Defender XDR, we're really talking about the tools that help us stay ahead of sophisticated, evolving attacks. These aren't just reactive, they're proactive, intelligent, and deeply integrated. For example, we have behavior analytics that detect threats based on how users and devices behave, not just known signatures. Then there's automation investigation and response, or AIR, which can analyze alerts, determine root causes, and if needed, even take remediation steps without any manual input. This highlights a key configuration area in Microsoft Defender for Endpoint: managing automation, upload, and folder settings. There are 3 main features here that help fine-tune how automated investigations handle files in memory. First, we have file content analysis. When this is enabled, Defender can automatically upload suspicious files or emails, attachments to a cloud for deeper inspection during an investigation that we may have. Next is memory content analysis. This allows Defender to analyze the memory content of processes, again, automatically, helping you catch in-memory threats that might not leave a file trace. And finally, there's automated folder exclusions. This gives us control over what folders, file types, or specific file names should be excluded from automated investigations, which is useful for avoiding unnecessary scans or, for trusted or sensitive directories. There are 5 remediation levels available in Microsoft Defender for Endpoint, which lets us control how automated investigations handle different threats that we have. At the first level, we have full remediation, which means Defender will automatically take action to remove threats without needing any type of approval. It's the most hands-off and fastest option. Then we have levels 2 through 4, which are semi-automated. With semi-automated, there are differences in approval requirements. For example, level 2 requires approval for any remediation, while levels 3 and 4 focus on specific folder types, like your core system folders or non-temp folders. And then the final one we have is level 5. With level 5, there is no automated response, meaning Defender will detect these threats, but it won't take any actions unless it's manually approved. These levels give us flexibility to balance automation with oversight, depending on the sensitivity of the environment or the risk tolerance of an organization. This walks us through the steps to block at-risk devices using Microsoft Endpoint Manager. And it's a great example of how Defender XDR and Intune work together to enforce security. So here we have step 1. In step 1, what we do is we enable the Intune connection from Defender XDR portal. This allows the two platforms to communicate. Next, in Endpoint Manager, we turn on Defender for Endpoint integration, which lets us use threat signals from Defender to influence device compliance. From there, we create a compliance policy. This defines what healthy looks like for a typical device. Once that's set, we assign the policy to the appropriate user or device groups. And then finally, we create a conditional access policy in Entra ID to block or limit access for any device that doesn't meet those compliance requirements. This workflow ensures that only secure, compliant devices can access corporate resources, helping us reduce risk and giving us control. So now let's go ahead and look in Module 8, Configuring for Alerts and Detections. After we complete this module, you'll be able to go in and configure alert settings in Microsoft Defender for Endpoint, and you'll be able to manage indicators in Microsoft Defender for Endpoint. So this shows a section of the Microsoft Defender XDR interface where we configure advanced alert and detection features. Some of the key options here include automatically resolving alerts, which helps reduce noise by closing out, low-risk alert type scenarios once they're no longer active. We also have advanced hunting, which enables powerful query-based threat investigations across your environment. And then finally, this is the kind of configuration that is allowing you to tailor Defender to your organization's specific needs, balancing automation with overall oversight. Let's walk through some of the key integrations that make Microsoft Defender for Endpoint even more powerful when connected across the Microsoft security ecosystem. First, we have Defender for Identity Integration. This pulls in rich user and device data, so we get deeper context around identity-based threats. And it also forwards signals back to Defender for Endpoint for even more unified view. Next is Office 365 Threat Intelligence Connection. This allows us to investigate threats that span both email and endpoints, giving us visibility into malicious links or attachments that may have landed in your users' inboxes and how they're impacting your devices. And then there's Defender for Cloud Apps. This integration forwards endpoint signals to help us monitor activity in both sanctioned cloud apps and shadow IT, so we can detect things like risky behavior in the cloud that might otherwise go unnoticed. We also connect with Microsoft Intune, which enables policy enforcement and device compliance based on Defender's threat insights. This is a key for blocking or remediating threats for your non-compliant devices. And then finally, Microsoft Secure Score. The Microsoft Secure Score uses Defender signals to assess and improve the overall security posture. It gives you actionable recommendations based on real-time data from your endpoints. Together, these integrations create a connected, intelligent defense system that helps us respond faster and even more effectively across the entire digital estate. You can configure Defender for Endpoint to send email notifications to specified recipients for new alerts. This feature enables you to identify a group of individuals who will immediately be informed and can act on these alerts as they're received based on their severity levels. Only users with managed security setting permissions can configure email notifications. You can set the alert severity levels that trigger notifications. You can also add or remove recipients of the email notifications if you so choose. So this walks us through how to manage alert tuning in Microsoft Defender. Essentially, it's about reducing noise by creating suppression rules for alerts we know are safe or expected in our environment. There are two main contexts for tuning. First, you can suppress alerts for a specified user, device, or device group. And this is useful, for example, when a developer is running a PowerShell script as part of their normal workflow. Second, if you're an admin, you can suppress alerts across the entire organization. This is ideal for tools that are widely used and known to be safe, like a common administrative utility. The key takeaway is that tuning is precision. It only suppresses alerts with the same title within the defined scope. So you're not turning off visibility in this case. You're just cutting off the noise when it makes sense. Defender XDR gives us a clear view of how we can manage indicators of compromise, or IOCs, within our endpoint protective strategy. These are the signals, things like malicious IP addresses or malicious files or malicious domains that help us detect and respond to threats more effectively. As you can see, we take different actions depending on the type of IOC. For files, we have the option to allow, audit, block, or even remediate. For IP addresses, URLs, and domains, we can allow, we can audit, or we can block execution. And when it comes to certificates, we can either allow them or block them, and if we need to, remediate. This level of control gives our SecOps teams the flexibility to fine-tune threat detection and response, whether you're proactively blocking known threats or auditing suspicious activity for further investigation. So now, let's look into Module 9, utilizing Microsoft Defender Vulnerability Management. After we complete this module, you'll be able to describe vulnerability management in Microsoft Defender for Endpoint. You'll be able to identify vulnerabilities on your device with Microsoft Defender for Endpoint, and you'll also be able to track emerging threats through Microsoft Defender for Endpoint. So let's take a look at how Microsoft Defender Vulnerability Management helps us stay ahead of threats. This image outlines the full life cycle of how Defender continuously discovers, assesses, and helps remediate vulnerabilities, even when devices are off the corporate network. At the core, it starts with asset discovery and inventory, making sure we know exactly what's in our environment. Then it moves into vulnerability and configuration assessment. Identity and misconfigurations or outdated software could be, something that poses a risk within your environment. From there, we have centralized administration, which gives us a single place to manage settings and policies. What's really powerful is the risk-based prioritization. It doesn't just show you what's vulnerable, it tells us how to fix it if we need to. And finally, it supports remediation, helping us take action quickly. Plus, with APIs and integrations, we can connect this data into our broader security ecosystem for even more visibility and automation. It's a comprehensive, proactive approach to reducing cyber risk across everything, across your entire enterprise. This gives us a breakdown of the vulnerability management navigation page in Microsoft Defender. It walks through key areas like the dashboard, where you get high-level views of exposure and secure score, and remediations, where we can dive into specific vulnerabilities and take actions. Other sections like remediation, inventories, and baseline assessments help us track fixes, monitor assets, and stay compliant, all from one centralized view. The Defender XDR remediation process is broken down into 3 simple steps. The first step is we select a recommendation. This could be a vulnerability or misconfiguration that needs attention. Next, we submit a request to take action on that recommendation, whether it's applying to fix or creating an exception. And finally, we review the request to track their status and ensure everything is moving forward. It's a streamlined way to manage remediation efforts and to keep your environment secure. Now that we've completed this learning path, feel free to watch some of the topics demonstrated in labs. So now, this concludes Learning Path 4. In this learning path, we covered Defender for Endpoint. We looked at Microsoft Defender for Endpoint and as a platform, how it's designed to help enterprise networks prevent, detect, investigate, and respond to advanced threats on their endpoints. We talked about threat management. Defender for Endpoint provides advanced attack detections that are near real-time and actionable. We looked at device onboarding. Devices can be onboarded to be monitored by Microsoft Defender for Endpoint through the Defender for Endpoint portal. We also looked at attack surface reduction, or ASR. Attack surface reduction rules can be enabled on Windows devices to reduce the attack surface. And we looked at vulnerability management. Defender Vulnerability Management uses built-in agentless scanners to continuously monitor and detect risk in your organization. So now, there are many ways to continue your learning journey. We encourage you to watch other videos in this course or search out your next favorite topic on Microsoft Learn. And you can get there by going to aka.ms/learn. Thank you.